Hi everyone, this is Marissa with the Art of Ecology, and today we are going to be creating a yummy Christmas themed cocktail. It's a very quintessential cocktail. A lot of people hear of it. Eggnog. Eggnog's the base, but this is our Christmas tree eggnog, and we are going to be using spruce to create this cocktail. So how you can identify a spruce tree as compared to other conifers like the pine, we did the pine needle hot toddy, is by looking at the needles and the branch structure. So let's get into it. Here we have our spruce branches, and as you can see, each of the little individual needles, instead of being in bundles called fascicles like the pine was, they are individually connected to the stem. So there you can see all of the individual connections that each of the needles has onto the stem. You can also identify spruces by the fact that spruces are sharp. They have sharp, pointy needles that can roll well between your fingers. Firs are different. Spruces have round needles that you can roll between your fingers, and firs have flatter needles, and firs also, the F in fir stands for friendly, whereas spruce, the S in spruce, stands for sharp. The needles of this tree are very sharp and very pointy, and you may notice when you have a Christmas tree that's a spruce, the needles, as you're adding your decorations and your ornaments, they can get really ouchy and pokey, and you're going to want to be careful as you are harvesting and foraging. So here we're going under this tree to see what we can see, and we're going to look up. You see anything? Probably not. But this time of year, December into January and February, it's going to be a great time to be searching for owls. And owls like conifers. They like to nest way up high and build these large flat nests that they are going to have in sticks, and they're going to use conifers like this to be their home. So today, for foraging our spruce, you're going to want to be using the needles. We are going to steep these needles in our milk for the eggnog to get that nice Christmassy taste. So you're going to want to harvest a whole entire branch. Then we're going to take the individual needles and use them like a tea or a loose leaf tea. For our eggnog infusion, you need your spruce needles. So make sure that your needles are washed. You can have them on the branch and then remove the needles gently and then wash them off, or you can just kind of dunk this in your sink and soak it off. I have one of those water sprayer thingies on my sink, so that's how I washed my spruce needles off. Then you're going to remove the needles. You can strip them easily by rubbing your fingers up backwards along the branch. That will remove any of the needles and pop those into your milk or your eggnog substance. You know what, why not? Let's dump the whole thing in, and we'll just have a whole big batch of steeping spruce needle eggnog. Why not? So we've got our milk mixture here, then we're gonna add our needles. At the very, very end of this, then we add the bourbon. For a single serving or just a little bit of this eggnog, I would probably only add one small branch, maybe the size of your hand, into the eggnog mix. However, I added a whole bunch of branches. I added probably like this much to my mix since I'm doing a larger batch at once. This whole portion is kind of just to your taste of how much do you want to have in here. If you only want a very little bit of that Christmassy sort of evergreen, piney, well, sprucey technically, sort of taste, then maybe you don't want to add as much. This part is all to your taste. But the more you add, the more wintry and Christmassy it will taste. And don't be upset if as you're removing the needles from your stem here or the branches, don't be upset if you get some of the little pieces of bark or other little parts of the tree in here. We are going to be straining this at the very end. So those little pieces are going to come out, and those little pieces also have the nice oils in it and some nutrients as well. So you don't have to worry too much about that. Now you are going to turn this on low heat. Again, if you've been watching and paying attention to some of my other videos, you'll know that boiling, not only is boiling bad for the milk, however, boiling is also going to degrade any of the oils that the needles and even some of the bark pieces have in here. So you're going to want to simmer this for about 20 minutes to steep this as if it's a tea. All right, we have our steeped spruce majesty going on over here. So it hasn't boiled, but we've got all of those nice spruce needles are starting to look rather wilted. Yes, I know. I set the timer to make sure that I wouldn't let it stay for too long or too little. And now we're gonna strain it. Yay, and well, not all, but most of those needles have come out. You may have to do this, as you can see, a couple of times, but that's okay. Strain it until it's just milk, and then we'll be ready for the next step. And if you're getting a hard time getting out all of those tiny little particles, that's what the coffee filter's for. We now have our eggnog mixture with our spruce infusion, and we've got our bourbon and a little bit of nutmeg to top it off. So let's get started. We're gonna take our eggnog and we're gonna pour it into the cup. You can pour as much as you want. I'm gonna fill it up nice and full here. Yum. And then we're going to pop it in our shaker. And today's shaker that I am using was made specifically for this Trails to Tasting video. I had a friend, Anna S., who was kind enough to get this for me for my last video of the winter season, and I'm thrilled to be using it today. Pop that into your shaker. Then we're gonna add our bourbon. I'm gonna add 2 ounces. So 1 and 2. If you don't like the taste of whiskey or bourbon, you could also use rum. But unfortunately, the only rum that I have currently available is mango rum. Probably would not taste very good with this. And then give it a nice little shake. It doesn't have to be a vigorous shake. We're not mixing it with ice. We just want the bourbon to go all throughout that milk mixture. Pour it into your cup. Top with some nutmeg. Ooh, that looks good. Unfortunately, it's nice and warm still, so let's give it a try. Wow, you can, as soon as you put it to your face, you can smell the spruce, like when I harvested the spruce, but you can kind of smell it as you're harvesting it, just the oils are getting on you. But I can smell it. Oh, it is good. Cheers, everyone. Did you enjoy my Trails to Tasting this winter season? Whew, it is chilly out here. Hope you're warming up with a nice cup of that pine needle hot toddy or today's Christmas cocktail, yum, 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 just in time for the holiday season. And you can always find ways to continue to support me even during the off season at www.theartofecology.com. And you can also click here to subscribe and stay up to date on all of the wonderful Art of Ecology going on. Enjoy, and thank you for participating in Trails to Tasting winter season.